Yo, GamerNemy here and welcome back to another character overview, and today we're looking at the Wing Chun master himself, Leroy Smith. So if you're trying to get into Leroy or thinking of maining Leroy, then this is the place to be. So as usual, we'll look at everything, his gimmick, how it's supposed to use him, his punishes, his damage, his lows, just how good is his character, and his weaknesses as well. So let's start with the generic tools at first. So firstly, let's start with his punishment. So Leroy's punishment is actually really good for what it is. So for standing first, you have 10 frames, 1, 2, 4, right? For 12 frames, you have 2, 2. I'm going to talk about the damage as well. So 1 to 4 does a good 25 damage, which is decent. For a 10 frame, of course, leaves you into Hermit as well at +3, right? So you can interrupt them with like a 4, mix them up with lows, right? Or mids, I'll talk about Hermit Stance as well. For 12 frame, you have 2, 2. Gives 30 damage, 12 frame Punisher at +7, which is amazing. Really, really good Punisher this. Really, really good. At 13 frame, he has down forward 1, right? Which was changed in Tekken 8, the animation as well. I'll talk about this later on. And for 14, he has actually two 14 frame Punishers. He has 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, 1 + 2, 1 + 2, 2. 1 + 2, 1 + 2, sorry. Yeah, so amazing 14 frame Punisher. Hit engager as well, and they buffed the range in Tekken 8. It's really, really good range. He also has up forward 3 + 4, 1 + 2. Long range Punisher. This is for your Death Fists, right? For your Jacks forward 1 + 2. Amazing Punisher this as well. And for 15 frame as well, he has down forward 2, 1 + 2. So he has, when it comes to punishment, he is settled. Especially while standing punishment, it's good enough, right? He is no joke at his punishment game. So for outstanding as well, he has outstanding 1. So outstanding 4 for 11 frame leaves you at +6. So decent, not much, but it's alright. Or +5 rather. For 12 frame, so for 13 frame, he has outstanding 1, 3, right? So just like 1, 2, 3, it's the same thing, but leaves you at +3 as well. This does 30 damage, leaves you in Hermit. Really, really strong for guaranteed mix-up after this. So amazing punish. And for 15, he has outstanding 2. Sick punish. So whilst his punishment game is very strong, again, he is very, very risky if you miss these punishers, right? So it's a kind of thing with Leroy. If you are trying to commit to a punish, you must be sure that it's actually hitting. This applies to whiff punishment as well. So for whiff punishment, you can use forward 2, 2 for long range, right? And upward 3 + 4 and forward 4, 4 as well. That is his whiff punishment game. So the thing about his whiff punishment, like it's bad on block, right? 2, 2 is a high, it will be ducked, right? 1, 2, 4 is basically -10, -11, -10, right? You get a jab punish at least 10 frame. This is -13. Not really that bad compared to the rest, but it is punishable. Forward 2, 2 is -15. You're going to get launched if you miss this punish. 1 + 2, 1 + 2, 1 + 2 is high into a -17 mid, so punishable as well. Outstanding 2 is launch punishable. Okay, it's 14 frames now. This is actually a buff. It was -15 in Tekken 7, so this is decent, but it's still punishable, right? Outstanding 2, 4, punishable as well. So you shouldn't miss punishment with Leroy. You make sure you have hard reads as well. So punishment game, it's good, at least a decent A, right? A+ maybe? Good punishment. So when it comes to lows, let's talk about his lows. So Leroy's lows are not that great in neutral because they deal too little damage. This is kind of a nerf to his Tekken 8 version of himself. And I'll talk about that later when we talk about his hit mechanic and how it all ties up to why his lows are kind of bad. So his lows are good to the sense that they have good range, right? And that's basically it, right? The good range. So like down back 4 has good range, but no damage. That's 13 only and is -1. But doesn't give you any frame advantage. Down 2 is only 11, -2, no frame advantage. I think down back 3 and side step 4 are his only good lows whilst in neutral. Down back 3 is actually really, really good, right? Leaves you in Hermit at +5, right? So you can guarantee a 4 after this, right? They mash, finish our thing. So it's really, really good. Side step 4 as well is good range, 17 damage. Basically his best low in neutral, right? You're guaranteed a 2, 2 on counter hit. So try to get this out as much as you can. Down back 3 also guarantees 1 + 2 in Hermit, which takes you in hit. If you want, you can go for 4, 1 + 2. right? So it's a very, very good low. So while his lows have very little damage in neutral, they are good in Hermit Stance, right? So he has a bunch of lows in Hermit Stance. He has back 4, which is 17 and plus 4. Already you can see the difference, right? Plus and a lot of damage, tracking and high crash. So it's a very, very good low. Counter hit launcher as well, right? So it's a very, very good low. He has his Hell Sweep in Hermit. This is a nerf. He used to get it in neutral, right? Down back 3, it's now in Hermit. 30 damage knockdown, very, very good. And he has 3-4, right? Launch punishable on block, low mid, but leaves him at +1, right? 16 damage. So he has good lows, but in neutral, they're very weak in terms of frame advantage and damage, but in stance, they are hella strong. And he's a little bit more risky in stance because this is launch punishable and he'll sweep launch punishable as well, but he does have the godlike back 4. So his low game is good. Overall, it's good as his punishment, in my opinion, even like an A+ as well. So it's really, really strong. In terms of damage, Leroy is a god, right? His damage has always been good since Tekken 7. So just show you guys the basic BNB, right? Something like this. Dropped it. To the wall. Right? 87. That's from an orbital. So his damage gain is really, really good. Combo damage, you're settled. You want damage, play Leroy for sure. So now another aspect of Leroy's game is his hit confirmable Wing Chun punches. So 1+2, 1+2 can be hit confirmed. What I mean is you can visually see if this move hits, right? Then you can finish it depending on whether it lands on hit or someone blocks. Because if you finish this, it's launch punishable, right? So you must visually see if it hits and then finish it and go into hit. This applies to his Hermit 1+2 as well. You have a lot of time to hit confirm this move, right? And it takes you into hit. In hit, it launches. So it's another aspect that you rely heavily with Leroy, hit confirming these moves. And I'll show you why they're so important in his game plan. So Leroy excels at 2 things in this game, mainly his Hermit mix-ups, parries, and chip damage. So that's basically Leroy's archetype in Tekken 8. Parrying is the best parry character in Tekken, by the way. What did I say again? Parry, Hermit mix-ups, he's a god, and chip damage, right? So pseudo mix-up, parry defensively, and chip damage. So Leroy has a bunch of parries, right? His basic parries. So for example, let me just record this real quick. So boom, boom, down, into back 1, right? So basically, Leroy's parry has 2 versions, right? So this is a just frame, back 2. This is a normal version. So if you get a perfect parry, you get more damage in a knockdown. If you mash, you're going to miss that parry, the just frame parry, like that. That's one version of his parry, right? Then his Sabaki, his down back 1+2 puts him into hit as well. It's an auto parry. It's an attack. So an attack on its own, it looks like this, right? But with a parry, it will take him into hit. So another parry, he also has, I think, up back 2, that, right? Then he also has, just a minute, Leroy, stop attacking for a minute. He has Hermit 1. Oh my god. Let's see. Just a minute, Leroy, chill. All right. Okay, I can't do this for the life of me. Okay, so basically Hermit 1, this has an inbuilt parry as well. So let me just show you guys. I have to show you this because it's really, really strong. So let me do that. Then record. Let's see, I missed that. Oh my god, what do I have to do? Am I doing it too fast? Dude, like what? Okay, let me do this. How can I show you guys this? Leroy, why not parry? This must be a bug, right? It must be a bug. It has to be a bug. So anyway, guys, Hermit 1 has an auto dodge parry. I'm sure you know it, right? It says weak. Then it knocks your ass down. On counter it launches as well. So really, really strong. So when it comes to parries, Leroy is the character you want to play. Now, the reason why his parry game matters a lot is because we have to talk about his hit mechanic. Now, one aspect of his hit mechanic is the fact that any parry that Leroy lands will refund his hit. So for example, again, I have to record if I don't fuck it up like previously. So down forward one, okay. So look at my hit, guys. My hit is like almost halfway, right? So I'll land the back to parry hit replenished, right? I keep getting my hit. Look at that. Look at that. Now I have a full bar again. So this applies to all of his parries, right? Down back 1+2 will land the parry, right? Hermit 1 will land parry and give him hit back. That's one aspect of Leroy's hit and why you have to actually use his parry and, you know, play a parry game with him. Now, the other aspect of Leroy's hit and what makes him strong in this game is he deals a massive amount of chip damage. Probably the best in the game, if not second to maybe Raven or third. His chip damage is insane. So I spoke about how you must have like a hit confirmable playstyle with this character with moves like this. So all of his Wing Chun punches, the quick flourishing punches, deal massive chip damage, right? So 1+1+2, chip damage. Hermit 1+2, chip damage. Down forward 1+2, down forward 1+2, chip damage. Forward 1+2, chip damage. So that's his gimmick whilst in hit. So he can do like massive chip. So let me just show you guys a good flow chart. So like back 3, right? 1+2. Look at that, right? Already it's almost halfway through his health bar, right? It's insane. Look at that. That's insane. It's insane. So he's a very scary character. He will force opponents to press buttons, and that's what Leroy really wants because there's a strong parry game and a counter hit game. So that's basically how his hit mechanic works. Massive chip damage in a parry game that will refund you your hit back. So the last things I want to speak about is his Hermit and his counter hit game. So Leroy's Hermit is basically a mix-up stance, right? He has a bunch of lows and a bunch of mids from this. So he has 4-3-1, like I spoke about, sorry, 4-3, 4-3-4, sorry. Very, very strong low. He has a hell sweep as well. He has a mid. I use him at +1. Really, really strong mid. Launches on counter hit as well. Right? Counter hit +1 mid launcher. Right? Strong mid. He has a mid launching orbiter. Right? This is 0 on block. Very, very strong. He has 1+2, which is the move I showed you guys earlier. You can hit to confirm this. Right? He has what else does he have? He has forward 1, very quick move. If you want people to stop interrupting, he has 2, 3. This is just a combo filler or a screw as well. You know, and he has a new Hermit size step 1+2. Flurry of punches, which means it deals massive chip, especially in hit. So his stance is a mix-up character. It's a mix-up stance, right? So he's a pseudo mix-up character as well. And lastly, Leroy does have a very strong counter hit game, right? At 10 frames, there's another hit confirmable 10 frame string, right? 1-1, 1+2, 2. 40 damage knockdown, right? From Tekken 7, it's actually returned its former glory. It's strong, it's so strong. It prevents people from mashing too much. Very strong against characters like Hwarang and characters like, you know, no high crush moves, right? Very, very strong. He has back 1, which is 13 frames now, 13 frame high, 45 damage on counter hit, which was not from Tekken 7, it was 11 frames, which was insane. So this is safer at least, you know. And lastly, he has a 12 frame mid counter hit launcher. The infamous back 2 makes a return to Tekken 8. No other character in the game has a mid 12 frame launcher. This is exclusive to Leroy because, you know, Wing Chun. But it is unsafe at -12, so keep that in mind. But it prevents people from being too aggressive. But however, it does have a lot of whiff recovery, so it can be baited. So anyway, guys, that's basically how Leroy works, right? Parry game, pseudo mix-up character in Hermit, and massive chip damage whilst in hit. If you want a character that's defensive and offensive at the same time, and can be so oppressive on block with his chip damage, Leroy is a character for you. This is a character that I'm playing as well, so don't worry, I'll have more guides in the future. So if you're new, please do consider subscribing and don't forget to doria that like button. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you made it this far, please do the needful and may the frame data be ever in your favor. So guys, GG.